depending on how we edited that, that'll either be really natural and sound like we just continued the conversation, or
I'll do
it'll be
my
a really...
best, but it's likely that there'll be like some kind of like a strokey type sound. That'll be all right though.
That'll be okay.
There'll be people in the comments like, "Hey, timestamp right here. They had a stroke. Haha."
Okay. Here, let me fucking Jupiter, watch out. Let me fix something real quick. Alright, fucking A. So, we got more topics to cover here on the Big Dummy Dumb Big Boy Dumb Dumb podcast.
Big boy districts. Oh shit! You know what? I totally forgot. We need a quick word from our sponsors, actually.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Let me actually bust this bad boy out.
Time
Sorry,
to get paid.
we're brand new to this, guys, but we do have sponsors, and they do a lot for us. So we got to show our appreciation here. All right, so this podcast is proudly sponsored by Uncle Pasta's Spaghetti and Sausages. All you can eat spaghetti and sausages delivered straight to your door. Now, if you're anything like me, sometimes you work up a hard appetite after a hard session of gaming with the boys, or maybe you just drink so much water you forget you have to put some sausage in your mouth too. So, dear listeners, that's where our friends at Uncle Pasta's come in to save the day. We're taking you on an all-you-can-eat buffet-quality Italian journey at a price you can afford. And it's delivery. And for a limited time only, right now, you can get the Spaghetti Ocean with cheesy bread for just $10.89 plus tax, plus delivery fees, plus tips, plus a small service charge. Thank you very much to our friends at Uncle Pasta Spaghetti and Sausages for sponsoring this podcast and, quite frankly, bringing us all here to make this thing happen together. Let's give a big round of applause.
Wow. Thanks for keeping the lights on, Uncle Pastas. Much better than my uncle. Okay. So, we're turning back to the, forgive the pun, but the meat of the conversation here. Yeah, it was pretty funny. I'm actually a professional comedian. As you can see, we did just get paid. Alright, so we got the new year coming up, Cody. 2022 is in about 4 days, 3 days, something like that. What are you hoping doesn't come along with us into 2022? What trend
Everything.
or what?
I hope 2023 is just different, and it won't be. It'll still be.
Wait, what do you mean 2023?
2022. Goddamn, what the hell?
You're just gonna skip all of 2022?
Yeah, it's like we're just going straight. We're just plowing through it. That's what it feels like, though. Like, when I saw that meme where it was like the PewDiePie versus T-Series thing was 4 years ago, I was like, no, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Yeah, that was like late 2017, early 2018, wasn't it?
That shit feels like it happened like 4 months ago.
It does.
It's whack.
I wonder where they stand these days. Let's check it out. Let's cross-reference. Let's get some information into the ears of the Moose Knuckle fan base that listens to us so intently. I mean, obviously, we got Uncle Pasta to sponsor us. We get the views, you know what I mean? Alright, T-Series. T-Series is at 202 million subscribers. Wow. Remember when fighting for 100 million was a big deal?
Yeah.
Holy shit, times have changed. PewDiePie's at 111 million subscribers. So there's your update on the PewDiePie versus T-Series war that, we're still all so invested in.
Damn.
And Felix's most recent video is him saying, "Why am I still here?" with his head bowed.
I recently learned about a term called, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like Schadenfreude or Schadenfreude or something. But it basically means that you take joy from the suffering of others. And I was like, damn, that's a fucked up way to live. And then earlier, like, one of my coworkers was, like, stuck outside because, like, you got to get in, you, like, ring the doorbell at the back and you just kind of fucking wait and hope that someone comes and lets you in. And they were out there for, like, 30 fucking minutes and it was cold as shit. and they finally got in, and they were like pissed as fuck, and for some reason I was just like, haha, yes, and like that's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's Schadenfreude or whatever the fuck.
Schadenfreude.
But I guess
Schadenfreude.
sometimes you learn a word, and then life just gives you an example.
Of it occurring within yourself.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing. That's the word of the day, folks. Schadenfreude.
I heard that.
Can you spell that for us?
Yeah, it's like SCH. I think it's like A. I think it's an A. But granted, I don't know if my phone just fucked up that word. Who knows? Apparently, the new Spider-Man movie is apparently really good, and the new Matrix is apparently really shitty. I haven't seen either of them.
We should see Spider-Man.
Yeah, we should. The
I have
Matrix.
to
I don't even
wait.
care to see that movie. Like, I just don't. I really, really liked The Matrix 1. Like, The Matrix 1 was a really good movie, but now everyone's like, oh no, Matrix 2 and 3 were really good too. And it's like, bitch, no, they weren't. The Matrix 2 had some cool action scenes, but it wasn't good. The first one was just good. It was just a solid, fun action movie. It had a good story, and it had good effects and shit. Second one was okay. I think that one was like The Matrix Reloaded. And then there was like The Matrix Revolutions?
I think that's what it was called.
Yeah, that one sucked. Like, I just did not like anything about that one. And then now there's Matrix 4, and for some reason I always like suspected that they were going to make this movie. I just didn't know when it was going to happen, but I was just like, yeah, they're going to make the Matrix 4. It's going to happen. So when I saw the trailer, I was like, not very surprising. Also, I thought the trailer looked kind of shitty too. I just thought it didn't really look that good based on the trailer, which I know is a horrible way to judge a movie, but I just thought that it looked kind of like lame on the premise. Like,
yeah. Wasn't it just that Keanu Reeves' character got amnesia and forgot everything and had to relearn it all again?
Apparently, I don't know anything about it, but I think a part of it is that he became like a video game developer and he made like video games about the Matrix, which is kind of a cool twist. But I guess the rest of the movie just kind of sucks. They also recasted some characters for like reasons that are strange, because I guess they didn't have to recast those characters because the original actors were like still down to do the part, but they decided to recast them just because like they were just like, fuck it, we want a new guy. It's like, oh, that's dumb. Okay then.
Yeah, fucking. This is kind of a weird part of this to go down, but did you see on Reddit any of the cool like outfits that the actors wore to the red carpet for that movie?
Oh, I didn't.
So there was one, I don't remember her name, but there was a lady who wore a fucking Matrix dress, so it was like the tails of the dress were the Matrix code, and it was really cool looking. And then there was a guy that wore like a really cool replica of a suit from the movie. It was really cool. Like, and you know the movie's bad when you remember shit like that.
Yeah.
Although, granted, that's just me talking out of my ass because I haven't seen it either.
The last movie I saw in theaters was the new Halloween movie, and like I had an alright time watching it, but yeah, it was pretty shitty. And there were parts of it that were just like stupidly funny, like on accident. Like the whole "Evil dies tonight" thing. Evil dies tonight. Ah. And then Michael Myers goes absolutely fucking apeshit. I think the best part of that movie though was that like the whole thing was like anti-mob mentality and like, oh, maybe we're the monsters, not Michael. And then it cuts to Michael like fucking killing a fireman with a pickaxe. It's like, oh yeah, okay.
No, Michael's definitely the monster.
It reminded me of like, I think it's really, really funny when like movies or just like anything like has a theme that it's driving at the whole time, and then at the very end, it just like betrays it for no fucking reason except maybe like drama. And like one example, and I brought this up before, and I've had people agree with me, is this movie American History X.
Oh, that's a fucking intense movie.
Yeah, but so the whole movie is basically driving towards like racism's bad, right? Don't be a Nazi. You know, it's a good message. But the movie ends with the fucking black kid walking into the bathroom and just shooting him dead after he's like changed and reformed and he's like all friendly now. And it's like, wait, why did that happen?
Because fuck Nazis, bro. Even reformed Nazis.
Did I just witness like a movie example of ludonarrative dissonance? Because I thought that only happened in games.
I feel like it can happen in any sort of medium. I've had books happen. Like, I guess it's kind of like related to the unreliable narrator thing, right? Where it's like not everything is gonna go as the movie sets it up to go, right?
Yeah. To me, like, I don't know. I feel like to me, ludonarrative dissonance, like, at least in a video game, is like when whatever you're doing or like, you know, the gameplay, whatever your objective is, doesn't actually like really match with the story at that given point. And a really funny example that I can think of is like I was replaying the Return of the King game, and in one of the levels, like, you gotta like use these catapults for some fucking reason. It was kind of dumb, but you have to like shoot catapults at a wall at like, because you got to get through this gate, and the whole time you're literally just blowing up like buildings around Gondor, and it's like, wait, why are we destroying Gondor? Like, aren't we here to like save the day? Aren't we here to like not do this? Isn't this what the
just so you
doing?
Know? Just so you know, your audio's crackling a little bit. I don't know if it's your end or my end, though. Hold up.
Is it doing it anymore?
Still a little bit. Not as bad, though.
Huh. I wonder why. Oh, I think I know why. Is it doing it now?
Say something again?
Is it doing it now?
Nope, it's better.
Oh, cool. I think I knew what was happening. This microphone is just very sensitive. It was hearing my penis rubbing up on my hands.
Ah, well, maybe stop jerking off when we record, okay?
Yeah.
Can we get on? Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
I don't like it when you say yeah like that, Cody. Freaks
Speaking
me the fuck out.
of the Return of the King game, though, we got a 2-player that shit because it's fun as shit. There's like no way that's not fun with 2 people. I know for a fact that it is because I've played it with 2 people. That was like one of my childhood games. It was one of the only cool games that my cousins had, because like I would go there for like pretty much just to hang out, literally every single day for like an entire summer break. And they didn't really have good games. They had a GameCube and lots of sports games, and I didn't like those. But they did have a couple interesting games, and the 3 that I remember were Return of the King, The Hobbit, which was not the best, and Pac-Man World 2, which I actually beat. I just literally like sat there and beat that game at their house. And they didn't even like care. Like, no, I didn't play with anyone. Like, normally I would play with my cousins, but like they didn't give a shit about that game, so I would sit there by myself and just play it. I don't know why I liked it. It wasn't a good game. It wasn't bad, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of like a Super Mario 64 ripoff.
That kind of brings it around to, I had a similar situation. So it was my mom's cousin's kids that my mom would like bring me to hang out sometimes, you know? And they had a fucking really old Super Nintendo. Like so old that like it only worked like half the time. And the only game that she had for it was this really shitty fucking, I think it was called Yoshi's World, where you just collected eggs as Yoshi, and it was like 2 buttons total.
Oh, I remember Yoshi's World, yeah.
Yeah. And that was all my fucking second cousins wanted to do was play Yoshi's World, bro. And be like, no, let's go outside and like play in the massive forest that your house is bordering.
Seriously.
And they'd be like, nah, we're gonna sit here and collect eggs as a green dinosaur. And if it doesn't work, we're just gonna obsessively blow into the cartridge and the Super Nintendo until it does work. And I don't think they had any idea that the Super Nintendo was such a late system, because I didn't get it. Because I would go home and play on my like PS2 and be like, this is awesome. Then I'd go to their house and they'd be sitting there rocking with shit from the 80s. Like, guys, this is from when like our parents were kids.
Oh yeah, this is probably where we bring up our shared hatred of the GameCube controller. I'm glad that we're on the same page with that, because that controller is just a fucking abomination. Actually, I showed my dad a picture of the GameCube controller, and I thought he was going to throw up, quite frankly. He fucking hated it, too.
There's no way he had that visceral of a reaction.
Literally, he looked at it and went, ew! I was like, me too. Dude, the GameCube controller sucks, though.
Okay,
like,
but you have to admit that the N64 controller is so much worse.
Yeah, the N64 controller is weird. It's super weird.
It's for the next generation of humans.
It's like so triangular. It's shaped
it's got
like
a third hand thing.
It's shaped like a fucking like Jetson style spaceship or something. But the GameCube controller, like, it doesn't just suck on like a visual level, which it does. You can just look at it and be like, yeah, that's fucking made for babies. But like, it sucks from it feels terrible in your hand. Like, have you ever like pushed the bumpers or like the trigger buttons on a GameCube? It feels like you're gonna break it. Yeah. Like, it feels like if you
but
press
then again,
the
so does
the
whole GameCube. The whole GameCube is like, it feels like it's being held together by like Lego pieces.
Also, the biggest thing I've seen from pro GameCube controller people is they're like, oh yeah, I love the big A button. I like having a prominent A button. It's like if a PlayStation controller had a giant X button, or if an Xbox controller had a giant A button. And it's like, yeah, I guess that would be kind of nice if you're a fucking baby.
This is for babies! Ah!
I just hate the fact that they just feel so goddamn breakable, like, in your hand. And, like, I had a friend who broke a lot of controllers. He didn't break a lot of controllers, but I saw him... I watched him break his 360 controller in a rage over probably one of the worst games I've ever seen.
What was the game?
It was a game called Damnation, and it was just super shitty, but he got stuck on some part, and he ended up, like, throwing his controller at the wall, and it just shattered like a fucking glass ball. And then as soon as he did that, we just hear his dad downstairs yell his name. I was like, ooh, busted.
I just had a really good idea for another content mine we could dig into.
See how many controllers we can break. We could set up like a big old like target on like a cement wall somewhere. Just
we could do that. We could get a bunch of different controllers and just rate how well they hold up to us throwing them at a wall.
I'd hate doing that, though. I hate breaking stuff. I really do.
Yeah, it could probably be cathartic. But anyway, the actual content mine I was talking about was, you remember that one video game store we went to get your 360?
Oh, yeah.
We could go there and get like one of those NES and SNES and N64 emulators, over time, and we could plug that into your PC and use that to record it.
That's
and we could record some like retro ass games, you know what I mean? Like we could play the original Super Mario.
I just found out that like the emulating scene for like the original Xbox is still like in its infancy. Like it's in a thing, but like what the fuck? Okay. It's in a thing, yeah. It is a thing, but it's like the technology is like still being worked on, and the only like PC emulators for like original Xbox games are like they're really few and far between, but they also don't work very well.
Mm.
which kind of sucks because there's a lot of like PS1 and PS2 emulators out there that work really, really good. There's a ton of Nintendo emulators that work really good. That's how I played GoldenEye. I played the entirety of GoldenEye on that Project, what was it, Project 80, I think it was Project 84. It was some emulator, but I played GoldenEye on that, and it was amazing because you get to play it at 60 frames per second with a full render distance. And if you try to go back and replay GoldenEye on the N64, it just isn't fun. The controls are horrible, the frame rate sucks, and like it just is a bad time. But if you play it on the PC, it's fun.
They sell those cool boxes at that one store, though, that's like they're emulators that are shaped like the original ones, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're not the originals, but they're like cool, and they come with like the original style controllers, which I feel like we could play some classic Mario, some classic Nintendo games,
Yep.
and play them on the original controllers. I think that'd be so cool.
I think like emulators are sometimes, very, very rarely, but I think they're sometimes a better way to play a game. And I think
you were just talking about with like GoldenEye, yeah.
GoldenEye is like a really big example of that. I can't really think of any others at the top of my head, but I don't know. People generally hate emulators because they're kind of like an impure way to play the game.
Oh yeah, it's kind of just elitism, gatekeeping type shit. Like, you didn't play this on the original like I did, so you're not cool, and it's like, it's the same shit, shut up.
I'm going to pull some magic trickery here and add some more background footage. I'm not even going to edit this part out either. I don't give a flying fuck. You can dox me with this if you want. I'm just kidding. There's nothing here that could make that possible. But yeah, this is a sneak peek of the editing process for you guys here. Very cool, huh? Yeah, now we're doing this. Bam. Amazing.
Amazing.
I just had to switch. I ran out of footage, so I had to switch the clips.
What's the game that you're running behind our voices?
It was Bloodborne, now it's BioShock.
BioShock 1, 2, or 3, or Infinite?
BioShock 1, because I'm currently replaying that game because I'm about to make a review for it. And I've already written the whole review, now I just need all the footage. It's gonna be fucking sick, dude. It's gonna be awesome.
I might start making more content if you want me to start uploading on Moose Knuckle.
That'd be cool, yeah. I'll have
Hold
to,
on 1 second, I'm gonna have a coughing fit.
What the hell was that? Oh yeah, I don't have any more topics on my list. Luckily, I have old topics saved from the Meatcast days.
I still got topics to cover. Here, let me throw one out there. Fucking...
Meatcast on my Google Drive.
Oh, yeah. So, I wanted to talk about so Spider-Man just came out, and it grossed $1 billion, bro. Remember how you were talking, so Brash has experience working with movie theater shit, and you were talking about how just it was so ridiculously busy.
Yeah, it was it was fucking balls. It hasn't been this busy since Fast and the Furious 9, which I didn't even realize that was a franchise people still cared about, but apparently the following is fucking, it's there. There are people who want to see Dominic Toretto and his family, and there's even more people that want to see every Marvel movie. It's like people are taking fucking days off work to see these movies. It's nuts.
Well, apparently it was that way everywhere, because Spider-Man No Way Home grossed over $1 billion. I'm pretty sure. I could fact check it, but I'm starting to get pretty high, and typing is wearing me out. But I wanted to talk about, so I saw this hot take from a YouTuber who shall remain nameless, because even though we obviously don't even have an audience, I don't want to encourage anybody to fucking go and harass people, but he basically talked about how he thought the Amazing Spider-Man Trilogy versus the Raimi Spider-Man Trilogy, he found the Amazing Spider-Man Trilogy to be superior. And his main points for his reasoning behind that was that he claimed that Andrew Garfield makes for a better Spider-Man. He conceded that Tobey Maguire, quote-unquote, makes a better Peter Parker, but he said Andrew Garfield makes a better Spider-Man. He said when he's in the suit, he's a better version of the character than Tobey Maguire is in the suit. He also thinks that the Amazing Spider-Man also has cooler villains, which I don't even want to get into in depth. It's like, no, the original Raimi Spider-Man had pretty much all the classic Spider-Man villains, whereas the Amazing Spider-Man had like secondary.
The first Amazing Spider-Man, literally the Lizard.
Yeah, and that's like one of the most secondary. Yeah,
he is literally the most boring of the fucking lineup.
But I just wanted to... Oops, sorry.
I'm trying to think. There's another like really stupid, boring Spider-Man hero, but I can't even think of him. I do like the Rhino, though. The Rhino.
Yeah, but he's also pretty secondary. I mean, the Raimi Spider-Man trilogy had, what, Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Venom, Sandman, the second Green Goblin.
Yeah, that was kind of an issue with Spider-Man 3, though, is they were like, yo, let's put all these villains in here. And it was like, yo, hold up.
I feel like that wasn't even Raimi's fault, though, because Sony made him. He wanted to do Spider-Man 3 and then 4.
Yeah, that's true. And they were like, "No, just put all your ideas into fucking this movie." And he's like,
"Yeah,
oh.
they wanted all those villains, and he wanted to do 2 movies with them." And they were like, "Nope, we don't know if we're gonna." Because at the time, most movies just did 3 movies, right? Like it was mostly just do a trilogy, call it good, maybe do a sequel trilogy later or something. So they were like, "Nah, we want you to do all these iconic Spider-Man villains and also conclude the series."
Yeah.
And also make it an hour and 45 minutes long.
I'm gonna fucking shit my pants. I don't even have to.
Did you move further away from your mic? You're sounding a little bit more echoey now.
Yeah, I like leaned back.
Oh, that's all good. But yeah, I just wanted to, because you agree, right? The Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, far and away, just blows the Amazing Trilogy out of the water. Who even directed the 2? I think it was Mark Webb.
That sounds yeah, because I remember everyone making jokes like his name is Webb, he's been Spider-Man.
But I wanted to, because I remember we were kind of messaging about this a little earlier in the day. We talked about the first comment that I made that the guy based his whole video on, which was Tobey Maguire is a worse Spider-Man than Andrew Garfield, and I think Tobey Maguire is a superior Peter Parker and a superior Spider-Man, and because he's not a dick when he's in the suit. Do you remember in The Amazing Spider-Man when he put on the suit and he'd like tease people and like fucking basically act like a punk and fucking just be a dick to everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it just felt like he was like a douchebag.
Also, I would like to issue a formal apology for my slight editing hiccup just now, but I don't think it's going to be a big deal, because it's only been 6 minutes of a slight volume thing that's not going to matter. Cool.
Let me check how much time we're at real quick. 1 hour and 5 minutes. It means it's been enough time for us to segue another smooth transition real quick into our second sponsor. It's time for the gross animal fact of the video, brought to you by Dilbys Bits. Dilbys Bits. You're going to love Dilbys Bits. If you order now using code Dilbys Bits with a Z, you're going to get a whole bag of nuts, bits, and screws of assorted sizes randomly sent to your door every month for a low subscription fee of $9.99 a month. Again, go to dilbysbits.com. We made our code DilbysBits with a Z because we're clever, and just get a random bag of little tiny building stuff. If you're a carpenter, it can come in a lot of handy. If you're just like, a regular person, you just like want bags of nuts and shit. Washers as well. Just go ahead. So the gross animal fact, let me pull it up here. That's again brought to you by Dilbys Bits. Come on, if I can just pull it up. Sorry, my thing froze. Oh yeah. So when you're petting a bird, you ever seen like a little budgie, Cody, or like a little parrot?
Oh yeah.
Hmm. Like, you know, your parents take you to like the vet, and sometimes they have a cool little like parrot they'll let you pet. Well, it turns out that those parrots are actually massive covert perverts because petting birds turns them on. Studies show that when you pet a bird, it interprets it as a sexual action and treats it as such, and that's where they appear to derive the pleasure from.
Wow. I actually think I heard that somewhere like a long time ago.
Well, that's this podcast episode's weird animal fact, brought to you again by Dilbys Bits.
Fucking birds, dude. You know my mom is like scared of birds.
Yeah, I think you've mentioned that before. Did I ever tell you how when my parents first got married, my mom insisted on getting a cockatiel and they got rid of it within a week because it was so annoying and pooped so much?
Yeah. I think my mom might
Yeah.
just be scared of shit that flies, because that reminds me of this time that we had a fucking RC helicopter, like an Air Hogs. I think it was literally just an Air Hogs, and I was flying it around, and my mom hated it. She just always hated it, and every time I'd whip it out, she'd get all like pissy. Like she wouldn't tell me to like put it away or anything, but you could just tell she was in a bad mood because of this toy. And I was always like, "Come on, mom, it's not that bad. It's just a little flying helicopter." And this one time, she was just sitting on the couch, minding her own business, and I flew the helicopter right next to her head. And I have no fucking idea how this happened, but the rotors got tangled up in her hair, and the fucking helicopter got like spun into her hair like a fucking bug in a spider web, and it was just stuck in there, and my dad had to use scissors to cut it out. So yeah, she
Wow.
fucking hated that helicopter. I never understood why. Why?
Yeah, gee, I wonder why. Did I ever tell you the story? So, in sixth grade, it was my first day of middle school, and we were in English class, and the teacher was like super hot, so like every dude in the class had like a huge crush on her. And she let us go to free study, and I wanted her attention, you know, like I was a little weirdo, and I wanted her attention on me, you know what I mean? So while we were all talking and discussing something, I made a paper airplane and threw it, and it hit her in the eye. And got tangled in her hair a little bit as well. We didn't have to cut it out with scissors, but luckily she didn't see me throw it, and apparently neither did anybody else because nobody ratted me out.
At least you didn't pull your penis out at any point.
No, I mean, I wasn't that kind of kid. There was a kid in that class who was a little weird. He'd pet you if you had to sit next to him, so the teacher made him sit at a desk by himself.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, like, by the time he was in high school, he, like, really was trying to live that down because he was one of those kids that was, like, really weird in high school and then in middle school, and then in high school he got, like, more mature and he realized he was a little weirdo, so he, like, tried to, like, change his image, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And anytime he tried to talk to me, I'd just remind him about the times in middle school where he pet me, and I would have to like fucking hit him and like punch him to get him to stop. And eventually, he got suspended for it like 6 times in middle school too. Like a lot of kids complained because it was always only dudes, and it was always like just super unwarranted. He was the kid in middle school who had like the most black eyes, dude. Just because people would literally just punch him because he wouldn't stop. So yeah, that's my story.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you toe the line like that, son.
Son.
Alright, here I am on Google. And, what's the last thing I Googled here? PS4 capture with friends. Wasn't that wholesome?
Would you describe me as your friend, Cody?
I don't know. That's tough.
Or would you describe me as a foe? Because I do have written here, Cody, friend or foe, and I feel like we should cover this topic because it's like, are you gonna kill me, or are we buddies?
I'd say you're more of like a fucking like a lunch buddy.
We'll never speak outside of the lunch period, but I'll sit with you at the table because I know your name. There were so
So
many kids like that in school. What's up? Go ahead.
what's
Throw
what's
it
the
out there.
what's the best Halo game?
Man, people aren't gonna like. Like, if I had to say my favorite Halo game, it would be Reach, but I know that's not the best, like, objectively.
Everyone's gonna kill you because everybody
Uh,
hates Halo Reach. That's a
you
controversial
know, I probably
opinion.
gotta say I enjoyed the story of 3 more, because it wasn't as grandiose as 2, but it really melded well with the gameplay, and it was really efficient. Really good story, and it delivered it in a nice, efficient package. Gameplay was top notch, not nearly as fucking kill yourself hard as Halo 2, and not nearly as nerfed as some of the Halo games to follow. So overall, I think Halo 3 is probably the best overall Halo game. What about you? What about you, Cody? What do you think?
I think I, I think I agree. At least like in terms of like overall content, I think Halo 3 has the most going for it.
We
In terms of
played
the
all of
story
the
and the
games,
writing,
right?
I think Halo 2 kind of takes the cake. Halo 2 just had like a really really good story. It was almost unprecedented. Like they get like the fucking Covenant involved in shit. They give you Arbiter. They really made it like they really opened it up and they made it like they made it lore worthy, I guess. Because Halo 1 was like really good and there was nothing really wrong with the story, but it was basic and it was all just kind of like simple setup stuff. Like every time I play through Halo 1, like I kind of get the feeling that they definitely weren't planning on making a sequel, and then the game got famous and popular, so we ended up with the Halo series.
Yeah, they definitely weren't planning on it being that popular. They didn't even plan it out that well. Do you remember the first trailer for Halo, or teaser that ever
Oh
came
yeah,
out
it
for
was a
Halo?
totally different game. It was like a
Yeah,
weird like almost like an RTS slash third person shooter.
and Master Chief wasn't even like that important.
Yeah, he was just kind of like a he was
Sniper.
like the cool background guy
Yeah, he
that
was
you
like a
didn't get
cool
to
sniper
like
dude.
play as. He was kind
Yeah.
of like the like Captain Price almost.
Or the what's it called? The Blood Hunter from Monster Hunter World, or
Yeah.
whatever the guy, the Master Hunter, or whatever the dude's called.
Hmm. Red Bull is good.
It was Monster. I'm drinking. I'm here sponsored by Monster over here. So throw out another topic there, Cody, because I'm running dry as well.
Me too. My back's fucking starting to hurt. That's all right.
Uh,
I'll think of something here.
best games of 2021. Fucking Deathloop. That was a stupid game.
I didn't play it. Yeah, I thought it looked kind of like a neat concept, but it looked like a game that I'd get bored with kind of quick. I don't know. I should probably replay like the Resident Evil games too. It's been a while since I've replayed Resident Evil 1. That's a good game. It's also really, really, really short. Like, I did like a not really like a speed run, but I wanted to like see how fast I could beat the game, and I ended up beating it in like an hour and a half. And
With the
there's
remake or the original?
the remake, but
Hmm.
it's all the same. Like the remake is basically just like a remaster, so it's the exact same game except with like modern graphics. And the Resident Evil 2 remake was more of like an actual remake, like from the ground up. A lot of
Yeah, I
shit was
remember that.
different. The Resident Evil 2 remake was great. I still love the original though. The PS1 version is still the shit, except for the really really awful controls.
Ooh, I remember a topic idea I had as well. I wanted to basically, me and Cody like to read and we like to write, and we actually kind of have a loose aspiration to like write some shit. You know what I'm saying? So we wanted to start like a little book club segment of the podcast where we can take some time to read a book and discuss what we read over here in the podcast. So Cody, I wanted to kind of open up the floor to you and see if you had any ideas for a series we could get into and read a couple chapters of before we record the next podcast.
Oh shit, I have no idea. I would have to like look into something. The one
Here,
like there's this one series I can't even remember what it's called, but this dude named like Brian Sanderson wrote it, and the first one is called The Way of Kings, and I've heard that
The Way
those
of
are good
Kings.
books. Yeah. They are really long though. Like it's a series, and like each book is like 1,000 pages. It's like holy fucking shit.
Yep, I'm
That's
looking at it
nuts. I thought like reading Lord of the Rings was gonna be a commitment, but like you get 1,000 pages if you put all three of the Lord of the Rings together. Like
I'm looking at it right now. It's $10 on Google Play Books. Did you hear me?
yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, let me see. Let me look at the free sample. Let's see what it's all about. 1,008 pages, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking nuts. That's literally like the length of I don't know. I'm pretty sure the Game of Thrones books are pretty long too, but I don't really have a whole lot of interest in reading those. Probably because I know that they don't have an ending.
Well, I mean, I'm down to read. You want to try to. So, Prelude to the Stormlight Archive. There's the Prelude. There's
Oh yeah,
book one.
we have to finish the Dune books too.
Hmm. I feel like I fell way behind you on that, so it's kind of too late, though, for us to do that on the podcast.
I only got like like a little less than halfway through it, and then I like stopped.
I was thinking we could start a new series, read like 3 chapters at a time, and then do like an in-depth discussion of each chapter.
We could make we could make our own like you know how there's how oftentimes there's like books based on movies.
Yeah.
We could start our careers as like just making novelizations of like the stupidest movies that should not have books based on them. Like fucking like Dodgeball. Like Dodgeball the book.
How would we incorporate that into the podcast?
We don't. We just leave the podcast behind and say fuck it. I'm writing the fucking I'm writing the Tropic Thunder novelization now. Or like it would have to be a comedy because like that would just be so awkward to read. Like imagine reading like a book based on like a comedy movie that you've seen. Like fucking
Yeah.
shit. I'm trying to think of like a funny example. But I just feel like comedy would like come off worse. Because when I was a kid, I read like the Star Wars movie books. Because I was a kid and I was like, ooh, this is good reading right there. That's some smart literature. I'll read you the Empire Strikes Back book. I don't even remember if it was any good, but probably fucking not. If you're an author who's writing books about movies, you're probably not super creatively inclined. But yeah, I just always thought that would be like a funny idea, like a funny approach for a career.
Pretty sure there are people that make their jobs out of novelizing. Like, I'm pretty sure every Star Wars movie has a novelization.
Oh yeah, I read probably most of them because I was a kid and I was like, yeah. And all it did was make me want to watch the movie, which is weird because when you read like an actual when you read like a book that a movie is based on, it's kind of like the opposite effect. You're like, damn, this is like better than the movie. Like when you're sitting there reading like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter and shit like that, you're like, damn, the movie's good, but this is just like, damn, a whole nother level of shit. But I don't know. I want to make I want to make a novelization about a Neil Breen movie, quite frankly. But I'd have to collaborate with him because I don't understand his movies. I wouldn't really know what I was writing about. It'd be like, so Neil stood in front of his car, installing his satellite dish, when suddenly he looked up. There was a cliff before him. He stood in a desert. Did I mention he had a satellite in his trunk for some reason? I don't know what he's doing most of the time. Like, his movies, his movies have plots that I think only exist to him. Like I think Neil Breen makes movies for his own personal satisfaction, and that's it. And he's the only one who understands them, and that's the way it's meant to be. It's Neil's world. We're all just living in it. We're trying to fucking interpret it. It's never gonna happen. All right, well, that's all I got for whatever the fuck that was.
So, did you want to read the Stormlight Archive then, or did you like?
Yeah, I'm down.
Because the first book is $10. It's 1,008 pages. I figured. Let me look at the table of contents real quick.
I'm gonna turn into fucking Christopher Lee. I'm going to turn into Saruman.
So
And I'm going to bully the guy who played Gandalf because I wanted to play Gandalf. That was a real thing that happened. I mean, they ended up becoming friends, but apparently when Christopher Lee and Ian McKellen like first met, the first thing Christopher Lee said to him was, "I read Lord of the Rings every year, and I always thought that I would be a good Gandalf." And it was just like, well, nah. I mean, he would have been if there was no other choice, but like as it was, like, nah, man, he was Saruman. That's the way it had to be. I sound like fucking Keanu Reeves in Pulp Fiction. It's the way it's gotta be. I am an FBI agent.
So anyway, so it looks like there's a prelude, a prologue, and then it starts with chapter 1. So we could read like the prelude, the prologue, and then chapter 1 and 2 if you're down.
Oh yeah, I heard there's like a shitload of like appendices too. I wonder if those are actually relevant to the book, because let me think. The Return of the King had a lot of appendices, which were a lot of fun to read, but like you didn't have to read them. They didn't really they weren't like story important.
So it looks like through chapter 2 is 62 pages.
That's pages.
So do you think
depends,
we could?
Though. That kind of shit depends on like how big the text is and like the print size on the page and all that.
It's pretty standard on. I mean, you can get it on your phone or whatever on the Playbook store for $10. It's pretty standard page size. But yeah, if you want to read through chapter 2 before our next podcast, we could discuss some of the shit if you're interested.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. I'm yawning. That was it. That was it. That was my yawn.
Well, fuck. What else you want to talk about there, bud? Because that's all I had for that part.
Me too. I'm hungry too. Maybe it's time that we end this and edit it together.
Looks like we've gone for about an hour and 25 minutes.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Ooh. Ooh, not bad. Yes. Ooh, yes.
Yes. Well, don't forget about Uncle
from.
Pasta's and Dilbys Drill Bits.
Oh yeah. So we'll close things out today with a very special thank you to Uncle Pasta's. Thank you so much, Dilbys, and Uncle Pasta's too, because you guys are really running the ship right now. Also, very very special thank you to my finance committee, who will remain nameless right now for many legal reasons. But you got anything else to add? Close this out.
Nope. Just a reminder that to the people, it's only $9.99 a month for a bag of various carpentry stuff like nails and washers and most importantly bits. You're gonna love Dilbys Bits. Also, just for a reminder, if you want to read along with us, we're going to be reading... I already forgot the name of it.
I think it's The Way of Kings. Also,
The Way
buckle
of
up,
Kings.
because I don't know anything about this book, but I've heard that it starts out slow. And that might be kind of painful for like a 1,000-page book.
Well, I mean, we're going to try to get through it. We're going to try to get through to Chapter 2 of The Way of Kings by Brian Sanderson. Yep, Brandon Sanderson. And we'll discuss it next time. If you want to read along with us, then we'll go into discussion just to have something to fill up the time, make these podcasts a little bit longer so we get up there in the length of time. Thank you for joining us today. I've been Not CT.
I feel like I need to address something right now. I don't have Tourette's or anything. I just keep making these burps and disgusting noises because I'm burping. And that's it. I just figured someone might comment like, what the hell's wrong with that guy? Is he okay? Like, every now and then I just hear him go, it's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm just, living my best gastrointestinal life. Anyway, yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys for listening to the Big Boy District. Remember to get our merch.
BBD.
Our merch is popping off right now. We're really popping off.
Oh, bro, those plushies of us are just, man, they're really cuddly. They'll keep you warm at night, and they'll whisper instructions for how to summon the devil into your ear.
Also on our website, you can get merch.
www.bigdickboys.
You can buy my cat. It does all sorts of stuff going on there.
Yeah, well, can you please buy Cody's cat?
It might be a virus, but it's all good. Anyway, that'll be it. Bye.
Yeah, if you want to install the virus, just go ahead and do it.